Welcome to Red Eyes Radio, new or regular listeners. My name is Henrik Palmgren, and it's a pleasure to have you with us. I'm glad that you stopped by redeyescreations.com and decided to join us as we explore some of the most fascinating and important areas of research. We are coming to you from Gothenburg, Sweden, up in Scandinavia, but you can of course follow us worldwide over the internet through our website. And if you're new to the program, please take a look in our radio and webcast archive. We have over 1 year of radio available for free for you there. We have interviews with interesting people doing important research into many different subject matters. Nothing is off limits as we are prepared to go anywhere as we search for answers. You can help spreading the word about the radio program. You can also sign up for a membership to our website and get full access to our radio archive going back to 2006. We have webcasts, films, video interviews, and much more available for you there as well. It's well worth it, and all information on how you can join is available on the website redeyescreations.com. Okay, about a month ago we had Alfred Weber with us from Exopolitics, and we discussed about many different things. We touched upon the area of life on Mars, human activity on Mars, and about structures, monuments, and signs of intelligent life on Mars. And one of the people that Alfred mentioned during this program was Andrew Basiago and his book, The Discovery of Life on Mars. And we have Andrew with us on the line today to talk more about this and to go into more detail than we have time for with Alfred last time. And Andrew is from the Mars Anomaly Research Society. And I just want to read you an excerpt from the book here to set the context. The author presents his initial data related to his discovery of life on Mars in PIA 1021-4 in 5 areas, namely evidence of humanoid beings, animal species, carved statues, built structures, and dead bodies. The life on Mars consists of intelligent bipedal hominoids capable of carving statues and building structures, and a variety of animal species that exist, that once existed or that have never existed on Earth. Reptilian species predominate. He also addresses frightening content and definitional constraints that individuals in Mars anomaly research confront when evaluating this first view by human civilization of life forms and ancient artifacts on another planet. He concludes that the discovery of life on Mars marks an epochal monument in human history when we, for the first time, human beings from Earth have encountered biological organisms living elsewhere in the cosmos. So that should set the context for you for what we'll be going into in more detail here today. The website you can take a look at is exopolitics.com for much more. Andrew also has a Facebook group called The Discovery of Life on Mars. You can do a search for that on Facebook. So with that, welcome to the program, Andrew. Thank you very much for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me on your show, Henrik. It's good to be on with you today.
Why don't you give us a little bit of a background on yourself, Andrew, and how you got involved into this subject of Mars and how your interest in this began?
Well, I'm a trial lawyer here in Washington State, in the United States, and I grew up in suburban northern New Jersey and in Southern California. I'm 47. As a school child, while growing up in New Jersey, I was brought into a classified defense-related research project undertaken under the aegis of the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, also known as DARPA. Those were the people who brought us the Internet. And in the late 1960s and early 1970s, DARPA had secretly launched a time-space research and development program. Somebody who went on to considerable public stature in the defense community in the United States, Donald Rumsfeld, served as the defense attaché for the project. My late father, Raymond F. Basiago, was an engineer for the Ralph M. Parsons Company, and like several other engineers at Parsons, was one of the engineers assigned to the project. Project Pegasus, as it was called, was really working on 2 areas of classified scientific development that even to this day, 40 years later, remain basically classified as official state secrets. The first was a teleportation technology that was derived from the papers of Nikola Tesla that were seized by the War Department upon Tesla's death in 1943, and they were forwarded to the world's leading physicists that were then gathering in Los-Alamos, New Mexico, to build the atomic bomb. That project had the Los-Alamos physics community had been developing Tesla's schematics and formula of different devices into prototypes for 25 years. Before around 1967-68, they determined that one of the devices was a teleporter. So I was brought into the project as a child participant when they were testing teleportation on civilians. The other major part of Project Pegasus derived from another device that was discovered essentially accidentally by two Vatican scientists named Ernetti and Gemelli, who, while studying Gregorian chants in the 1940s, were working on a specialized microphone where they accidentally discovered a way to capture and amplify the signal from a past event and portray it as an image on a screen. And so, working with the distinguished Italian physicist Enrico Fermi, by 1952, they had a sort of a TV screen, that is to say, a two-dimensional moving image of past events. By the time I was brought into Project Pegasus in the late 60s, early 1970s, as one of the child participants, Chronovision, as it was called, which was basically relied on holograms propagated by these devices called chronovisors, was already able to model past and future events in a three-dimensional space, that is, as a hologram, that you could either look at and try to understand what was going on inside the hologram, or if you stood on the stage of the chronovisor when the hologram was propagated, you could experience being in that past or future place in terms of a virtual reality, in terms of being able to see what was going on there and actually be seen by the people of that time and place. But in fact, you were back at the laboratory and experiencing time travel in a sort of holographic way rather than directly. Mm-hmm. Now, I first teleported, at least the time that I can remember was, we know it was in 1967-68, because my dad took me up to the old Curtiss Wright Aeronautical Facility, which was a defense contractor location in Woodridge, New Jersey, which was about 15 minutes from our house by car. And we went into Building 68 there, and there on the shop floor was in two parenthesis-shaped objects. They were about 8 feet tall, about 10 feet apart on the ground, and they generated a field of energy that sort of looked like water falling in a water sculpture in a public park. That is, from 10 feet or so they did. But then if you went up to about a foot, what you saw is the energy field looked sort of like raster on a TV set. And you could see these little squiggles of blue-green light emanating across the energy field. And what my dad explained is that with the device on, he had the technician turn the device on, is that when we jumped through that field of energy, we would experience a few seconds of going through an illuminated tunnel. This was actually what they were called vortal tunnels, not wormholes. But what they were doing was opening up sort of interstitial chasms in the fabric of time-space. We weren't being digitized and reassembled at the destination, because that would kill a human being, because of course that would stop cellular metabolism.
Right.
They were doing the opposite. They had found a way to basically open up that extremely dense field of space that modern physics is calling the quantum plenum, so that somebody could basically stop being in one location and start being in another location. And the particular destination that they were using in those early days of time-space exploration by the U.S. government was the state capitol complex in Santa Fe, New Mexico. They selected Santa Fe not only because it's a very friendly town, but also because it's a very old town. I mean, New Mexico was settled about 400 years ago. And they were always concerned about the possibility that one of the chrononauts in the program would become lost in time. So they selected Santa Fe because it was old, because it was near many of the